I absolutely messed up going to Costa Rica. If I had to do it all over again, I would do things a lot differently. And in this video, I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to highlight some of my mistakes and really talk about the 14 big things you need to know before you go. And the first one is choosing the right airport. This seems so basic, but it's not. Essentially, don't be cheap. Do not automatically book the cheapest airport because Costa Rica looks small, and absolutely do not automatically book a round trip ticket, especially if you're going to trek through Costa Rica. Maybe you start at the north and fly into one of the all-inclusives like Dreams or Secrets, Planet Hollywood, the Rius. But maybe you want to go to some surf cities and a couple casinos and you end up closer to the south or the capital. Do not automatically book a round trip ticket. You may want to fly into Liberia and out of San Jose. It all depends on your location. Go to Google Maps. Every mile matters. I'll touch on that next. And absolutely choose the airports that are closest to where you're starting and where you're ending. A big part of that, or I guess the part of that, would be number 2, and that is the roads. They are not like how they are here in America or the UK or Canada. A lot of times they actually have the semblance of a trail. And also they are wildly unpredictable. The conditions and the traffic, they swing wildly day to day. You just don't know what it's going to be like. So bad conditions and bad traffic, it's like LA rush hour. Sometimes 3 miles could take 30 minutes. So just think what 30 or 50 miles could potentially be. It could be a half a day or sometimes even a day. If you are going to drive or if you are going to rent a car, it has to be an SUV. Do not even think about getting a sedan or a little car. And if your schedule is very time oriented, make sure you build in a time buffer because like I said, the roads are wildly, wildly unpredictable. Number 3 would be currency. This one I struggled with. I just thought that ATMs would be prevalent. They are not. I stayed at the Rio complex, the 2 largest resorts in Costa Rica, Rio Guanacaste and then Rio Palace, and there was not an ATM on site. There used to be. I don't know why it was removed, but there was not one, and the closest ATM was 45 minutes away, which means an hour and a half round trip. I needed some cash, and by the time I found a taxi and I went to the ATM, the whole ordeal was like $100 and half of my day. Bring cash, bring dollars. They actually prefer them to their local currency because it's more stable. Number 4, it is extremely humid. Humidity like I've never experienced in my life. I thought Cancun and Punta Cana was humid. Costa Rica makes those seem like the Gobi Desert. It is instant sweat. I know this seems really trite and cliche, but you have to make it a point to hydrate. And more importantly, bring a lot of shirts. Guys, especially if you're prone to sweating, bring a ton of shirts. All right, number 5, because it is so humid, it rains a lot, specifically in the rainy season, which is not your typical rainy season. This is where I made a huge mistake. Pay close attention to this one. Usually off season and on season in the places I go to, Punta Cana, Jamaica, Cancun, it's 6 months and then 6 months. But Costa Rica, it is 8 months rainy season and 4 months dry season. I thought I would try to play the numbers game and book a little during shoulder season like October, November to try to get a better deal and to sneak in, kind of wedge my way into peak season, and no. It is literally rainy season, and if you look on the app in the morning, the default forecast every single day is rain. Number 6 was shocking, and that is that it's not tropical and it's not jungly, it's actually forest. Lots of mangroves of different types of trees, and fun fact, those trees play a huge part in the culture and national identity of the country. Looking back, I think one of the reasons I thought it'd be more tropical and jungly is because I believe the rumor that Jurassic Park was filmed in Costa Rica and it was actually filmed in Hawaii. So I kind of had a different perspective of what Costa Rica was going to be like. Number 7 was a heartbreaker too, and that would be the beaches. Now, I did not expect them to be the quintessential tropical Caribbean beaches that I'm usually at with the white sand that's powdery soft and the hyper turquoise aqua colors, but I was expecting a lot more than what I saw. The volcanic and the black sand beaches, they are ultra cool for about 5 minutes, and then after the novelty wears off, you are basically left with reality. And that reality is, unless you are a surfer, a nature lover, or a purist, the beaches are actually really disappointing. Number 8 is a lot like number 1 in the sense that it seems really basic, but you have to drill down a little bit. The ecosystem is diverse. There are volcanoes, there are cliffs, there are coves, black sand beaches, cloud forests, different types of mangroves. The key here is that if you want to see all of them, all Costa Rica has to offer, you're going to have to put in a lot of time and a lot of work because they're all not in the same spot. So if you want a volcano experience, a cloud forest experience, and you want to do a little surfing, you are definitely going to have to map out your logistics as well as have an extended trip. Number 9 makes me chuckle a little bit. The service is so slow. Specifically, I'm talking about the dinners, but just in general. There's a specific name for it, which I don't remember off the top of my head, but it makes the Jamaicans look prompt. If you are a fast eater, add an hour to your dinner, and if you really like to take your time, you might want to block off the evening. Now, I'm not being critical. It's part of the culture, and the food is fantastic. I just wish I would have known ahead of time before I started planning my evenings. So Costa Rica is an expensive country. That's no secret if you've been there or if you're researching a trip. The heightened popularity as well as the shortened dry season definitely isn't helping things. Prices seem to go up year after year. If you want any chance of booking a good resort or hotel for a fair price, you have to book months ahead of time, like 8, 10, 12 months. I made an entire video on this about how to book the absolute best hotels for the absolute cheapest prices. I think in that video, I highlighted a Costa Rica resort, maybe Dreams, and I showed what it was like booking that property 3 months in advance, and I think maybe 15 months in advance for the same dates, just a year out. I think the savings was hundreds, if not thousands. Number 11 was a nice surprise, and that is English is a lot more prevalent than I anticipated, especially compared to the likes of Punta Cana or Cancun. Not everybody speaks it, and not everyone speaks it perfectly, but because it is taught in schools at a young age, it is so much more prevalent than I expected, which is great for asking directions, socializing, or just having a sense of comfort. If you like to sleep in, but also like your sunshine, I have bad news. The days are evenly split. 12 hours of sunshine, 12 hours of nighttime. And that might seem like a great thing, but because it's so close to the equator, the sunshine starts basically at 6 a.m. every day, and it's done by 6 p.m. I am very fond of leisurely taking my time to get to the pool, maybe around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and in Vegas, Punta Cana or Cancun, that's usually okay. But in Costa Rica, the sun is setting at 6 p.m., and that is a fact. So if you really want to take advantage of the gorgeous daylight, you're going to have to get up early and seize the day. Number 13 is the people and safety. The people, in my experience, were so warm, friendly, outgoing, conversational, happy to help, smiling. I think the people were absolutely awesome. It's Pura Vida all the way. And regarding safety, not once did I ever feel endangered or threatened, but at every resort I was advised not to leave at night. And I found that interesting because Planet Hollywood was in the most luxurious, apparently safest part of Costa Rica, Papagayo, and they said explicitly do not walk around at night. And the same thing went for the ultra luxe treehouse. And I found that one to be surprising because it was in the middle of nowhere, just little markets and villages around. And even Rio had armed security guards every single night patrolling. Not once did I feel unsafe, but I definitely got the sense that danger could be out there. And lastly, number 14 is not to stay at an all-inclusive resort. It's a much different experience than what you're going to get when you go to like a Cabo, Jamaica, Playa, all the usual suspects. I'm not saying it's better, and I'm not saying it's worse. It's just very different. And if you like those, there's a chance that you might not like the all-inclusive experience at Costa Rica. Now, will I go back and do all-inclusives in Costa Rica? Absolutely, but that's what I do. But my best memory was staying in that 5-star treehouse that was hovering over the entire forest. And if I had to go back, I'd do more of that. The volcano stuff, the thermal spas, the tents, the tree houses, stuff that is undeniably and authentically Costa Rican.